on Israel since the April ceasefire, fired after an Israeli strike uh, on Beirut Dahia, which killed 2 people. So that's their response. That's their thought. What's your view on this?
I as I see this, the answer is that Iran has expressed through its diplomacy that Lebanon is an extension, at least by defense treaty, informal defense treaty, is an extension of Iran. Because they've made it clear. They didn't leave it up to guess, like, if we hit Lebanon, will Iran respond? Is that Iran has made it clear from day one of this war. When the first offering from Iran to the United States was, you want to end this? Here's our conditions. Israel stopping its advance into Lebanon has always been on the table. And Iran made it even clearer if it wasn't clear enough before. If you don't stop your incursion, or if you hit Beirut or Hezbollah headquarters in Dakhia, we will retaliate. Diplomatically and politically, they have set the table to say any attacks against Lebanon are an attack against us. It's kind of like an Iranian version of NATO Article 5. Attack Lebanon, and that is an attack against us. So by extension, they've shown now that, are they still in that defensive posture? You strike us, we'll strike back. Now that they've stricken a third nation, it's not necessarily Iran, but Iran put it on the table. Collective defense, the collective defense treaty of Iran. Hit Beirut, and that's like hitting us, and we will respond. So they've made that very, very, very clear, both to the president and to Netanyahu and to the region, to any region, saying that if you strike us, and you're doing so in support of the US or Israel in this war, we will strike you back. So now it's not a matter of they struck, but you helped them, well, we're going to hit you too. We told you collective defense, and here's the thing, collective defense is very much codified as okay in terms of international law or Geneva Convention. Collective defense is a legitimate reason to use military force against another when you've made your collective defense position clear. I believe, and I don't think anybody would disagree, that Iran has made its collective defense position with with Lebanon very clear. So we're in uncharted territory now in terms of how Iran may respond. They are going after what's considered not just a theoretical target, but anything that's on the table that is a legitimate military target to either defend or strike against. Where this strike in Dahia, where did it emanate from? Wherever it emanated from is a legitimate collective defense target for Iran in defense of Lebanon, period. They're in the right. I mean, by international law and by Geneva Convention and in hostilities, they're right.
No doubt.
I say they're justified.
Yeah. And okay, I can't find it now. But there was a basically, so now that's one element. Now the other element of this is this attack by Iran was specifically directed at northern Israel. If Israel responds, which the response could be tonight, and obviously we're giving you the news as and when we receive it, guys, make sure you like this video and subscribe and have your notifications on. But if Israel was to respond, then do you believe Iran's response is going to be a lot more overarching?
Yes, so I think, so Iran made it very clear. If you strike Beirut or south of Beirut in the suburbs in Dakhia, we will hit northern Israel, right? They made it very clear where we're going to hit the north. And that's exactly what they did. Why? Because if you're striking Beirut, so like I said, in the last 24 to 48 hours, maybe 50 hours of what we've seen here, Israel took out a Lebanese army general. They've continued their operations in the south. And now they've struck Dakhia, threatening Beirut. What would you do? Well, if you're Iran and you're looking at in terms of a defensive posture, okay, well, I don't have this intelligence, but I'm pretty sure that Iran does, real-time footage of the Israeli forces massing along the border that are going to incur further into Lebanon to advance, well then yeah, you would strike them there, because they're striking Dahia to hit Hezbollah leadership, to disintegrate Hezbollah efficiencies in the south, to bring in more forces. So if you're Iran defending as a collective defense, you would hit those forces. So that's exactly where it's exactly where they hit, it seems. That's exactly where they hit. Now, if the escalation becomes greater, well, then you expand that pain, you expand that response. Okay, it's not now just the forces that are going to cross, it's the headquarters that's giving them the commands to do so. Well, now we're going to hit you, and that looks like Tel Aviv.
Okay, I'm just looking at some breaking news. Let me just make sure it's legit. 1 second. Okay, no, it's not. Okay, so the other element of this is this. So obviously, I've had a few guests on, and they've had a slightly different opinion on this. But Trump is making it seem like a couple of key points. He's making it seem like he wasn't part of Beirut. So as in, he didn't give the go ahead with Beirut. He's making it look like he was on the phone call with Netanyahu and told him like, don't strike. Netanyahu's getting a huge amount of pushback. So one option is that Trump is telling him he's not agreeing. The other option is that actually they're both colluding and they've already made a plan on how they're going to strike Iran. What do you think is really going on there in terms of these discussions?
I am of the camp that thinks that Donald Trump did not know or give the green light. I think Donald Trump got word of it as the package, the strike package was en route, or the missiles were flying, whatever the package or the strike was, whether it was direct interdiction or missiles. Once the bullets were in the air, so to speak, do I think that Netanyahu then gave Trump a call to say, hey, this is happening, so that he knew about it, right? I think so. But do I think that Donald Trump was a part of it, gave the green light, knew about it? I don't think so on this one.
And so if that's the case, what it seems like is, and if reports are true, because, for example, we got Larry Johnson on next, he was under the impression, according to his own sources, that the deal was very close. The deal was going to happen very soon. Trump said the deal was going to be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and this may derail it. So do you think this was, and you talked about the spying, me and you talked about this new bill. Do you think this was the Israelis' attempt at destroying the negotiations?
Yes, I think that, is Israel still spying on the president and knowing what his talks are with whom? Yes. If Netanyahu would have gotten, sought from Trump the green light, Trump would have said no, which we think, according to Trump, he said no, because the peace deal is close. So what we know right now, the linchpin in that, what I think gives credence to Larry's assumption. And again, I don't have sources or intelligence, so I'm only making my predictions and assessments based on my best military assessment and military advice. Not.
And based on that, you predicted the strike. Let's be clear, but do continue. Yeah.
Yeah, but because that's the path. That is the way, as the Mandalorian would say. So when you look at this in terms of
Anthony, don't mention the Mandalorian, please. It's giving me too much heartbreak. It's giving me too much heartbreak because I'm the OG and I'm like, I don't like these new iterations. But sorry, do continue.
It is. You got to get with the times, man. I'm on, Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian. I'm in on it. Man.
I'm not down with Kathleen Kennedy. But sorry, go ahead. Continue.
When you look at we know for sure that the Pakistani Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi in Iran has met with Mustafa Khamenei and other leaders of the leadership of the government and the IRGC. We know that. That message was given to Mohsin Naqvi directly from the field marshal, and carrying a message. That message wasn't from Pakistan. Pakistan is the deliverer. I think that message was something from Donald Trump direct, knowing that Israel can interdict certain communications. Donald Trump didn't want to go through Witkoff or Kushner because they are compromised either by willful or being spied on. Again, it's hard. You don't really need to spy on somebody when they're just giving you the information. So I think this was direct to Pakistan to hand deliver a message by hand from the President of the United States to the Ayatollah to say, hey, I'm ready to negotiate in good faith. I'm ready. Like I'm going to say a bunch